Welcome, everybody, to the Gravenhurst Accessibility Committee. Glad everyone could show up, and this is called to order, and the time is 3:02. Our second item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. The recommendation that the agenda of the Accessibility Advisory Committee meeting dated October 17th, 2024 be approved as circulated, amended. Dave is first. Karen, second. All in favor? Carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interest, any? None reported. Approval of minutes. The minutes of the Accessibility Advisory Committee, September 26, 24, recommendation that the minutes of the Accessibility Advisory Committee meeting dated September 26, 2024 be approved as circulated. Judy first. Barbara second. All in favor? Carried. All right. Deputations. Lowell Bergstone, Manager of Operations, and Andrew Stacy, Director of Infrastructure Services. Retown Operations and upcoming accessibility capital projects.
Have an update about that?
You have an update?
Just to inform the committee, unfortunately, Andrew was taken ill today, so unfortunately we had to cancel today's deputation. He's advised that if anybody has any questions, they can always you guys can put them through me. Otherwise, we can reschedule to another day, likely in the new year, for him to come, as well as Lyle.
Okay. Any questions regarding that? Go ahead, Barbara.
Through you, Mr. Chair, thank you so much, and I hope that he gets well soon. I'm a little concerned about not having a chat until the new year, just because I believe they were going to talk about what it says, accessible capital projects. I know that the budgeting process is on its way as well for the town for 2025. I think it would behoove the committee to learn a little bit more about the projects before the end of the year.
I technically had development services come for next month. However, that being said, if you want to shuffle the attendance to the committee, we can definitely do that.
Go ahead, Barbara.
Through you, Mr. Chair, could we have both?
If you like to. More bobbing heads are good, but in terms of like a discussion, it might be a fairly long one between the two directors.
Well, we do have a 2-hour meeting slot scheduled.
Yeah, if
so
you can fit
could we
everything
not
in.
Actually use the 2 hours?
If you feel you can get everything done within the 2 hours, absolutely.
I think if we manage our time, that would be acceptable, yes.
Okay, yeah, I will bring them both in if I can.
And I do have a couple of questions that I was going to ask Mr. Stacy. If I may, you said to push questions through.
I would recommend actually putting them through writing because
Oh, goody,
it's
okay.
much easier for us to be able to document them.
I will do that, thank you.
Yep.
Next item is the working group reports, the Advocacy and Education Working Group.
I think so. Through you, Mr. Chair, if I may. We believe that we do not have any updates at this time. We were waiting for what happened at the community, well, perhaps you could do the update for us, at the council, yeah, that's council meeting with regard to our motion. Sorry, I'm going to be quiet now because I can't get my words out. So, Penny?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, the suggestion regarding the accessibility conference coming up in May of 2025, and what we're hoping to do there with working in pairs, and I was addressing all that to everyone, bringing things to the people to try that some people with accessible problems would, for example, going around in a wheelchair or putting on glasses where you can't see where you're going, or covering your ears so you can't hear, putting on oven mitts so you can't open doors. Councillor Cairns had actually gone through one of these operations quite a while ago, and she was my seconder for my motion. And so she definitely wants to be part of this. And I guess the biggest question that came out of it was how much this was going to cost. We brought Shauna from Recreation and Development into the conversation because she was here at the last meeting here when we asked if she could be a part of it and help us out. So there were questions about that. And I kept saying, we have the budget, we have the budget. And nobody seemed to believe me, but I kept saying, we have the budget to do this. And I believe Jonathan has spoken to Shauna, and she sees it as quite an accessible amount that we'll be eligible to use. Anyway, it got passed, and now we just have to work on that. And I believe, does it come back to council? Because I guess I always get confused with this. Once it's been passed in council, then we just work towards it, don't we?
Sorry, I'm not understanding your question.
Through you, Mr. Chair. I thought when I came to you and said, okay, how do you feel about this, how it went, blah, 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 and you said, well, now it has to go back. I guess it has to go back to Shauna.
So, yeah, so the approval from Tuesday's meeting was for us to work officially with Shauna in order to discuss the
Right.
logistics of the events and all of that,
Right.
which up to including the budget.
Okay, there we go.
So in terms of news, we had preliminary discussions, or I had preliminary discussions with Shauna Patterson, the Director of Recreation, Arts and Culture, just to go over like ballpark figures of what the actual event would cost, and probably ballpark 5,000, give or take. Now, we also had preliminary discussions with Ross Jeffrey, the Director of Financial Services and Treasurer, and he provided us an update with the actual amount that's available to us within the Accessibility Reserve Fund. So, which is technically controlled by council, but you guys have oversight over it to be able to ask council what it could be used for accessibility projects. So, we're essentially going to be adding the event planning to next year's budget. And through a recommendation from this committee, we can get that, I guess, condoned or recommended that council use the budget. I'm still trying to confirm the official process for that, but it can be done for November's meeting. It's well before the actual budget time in December. So we'll be able to actually have that approved, or at least documented, that you guys condone or bless the use of that reserve fund. And council made the decision to use it when the event is funded during the budget process in December.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much again, Penny. Your expertise and leadership was very, very clear on that session. You were point on, bang on what you were saying, how you were saying it. It was just beautiful, so thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Well, I have to say, after watching the meeting through district, I was so impressed with the results of that meeting. I mean, I was writing down notes, and I must admit I took some of those notes in order to present it. But I was so impressed with that meeting at district, with all the ideas and the people that came forward to talk about what they're doing. And they were definitely very impressed with you and
Work
what
that
you're.
we do here.
Yeah, I was really happy to hear that, and the fact that, I can't remember the name of the woman who wanted to touch base with you. and-
Diane Lloyd from
Yes,
Bridgebridge.
yeah. So I think she'll be a great addition to helping you help us.
Thank you.
I think that conversation moves us on to the next point, which is the Accessibility Advisory Committee.
Karen, I have a question.
Oh, Karen. Go ahead, Karen, sorry.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that exactly the same thing. I was only able to stay for about an hour and a half, I think. And I was really impressed. And I'm thinking, look what we can do. So, thanks to everybody.
Thank you for that, Karen. This kind of moves us on to the next point, the Accessibility Advisory Committee Collaboration Working Group. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend that video conference. Perhaps, Barbara, you can give us some highlights or whatever.
It is being covered in the next agenda item, if we could move to that.
That would be fine.
Thank you. So I did make a few notes this morning. I agree, it was a great success. And thank you all for those of you who were able to attend for however long, for however much technology allowed you to attend. I know it's hard, but it was a really amazing event. What I really enjoyed about it is so many people saying we should do this again, we should do this again. I think there was one comment as well with the district chair that if we did it again, it would be outside of the normal district meeting time. It was a 2-hour meeting for our joint meeting, and then we had a 1-hour plus meeting after that for our regular meeting. So it's a little tough to put that all together in one sitting. And I was only able to stay for the first hour of the next meeting because I had another commitment. I wanted to say thank you for everybody, and I know, Ralph, you weren't able to attend, but we were thinking about you and all the work that you do and your leadership here too, so thank you so much for that. Bracebridge and Huntsville also had a quorum, which is cool, so they were both there. Lots of folks were there, lots of ability to chat. I wasn't as clear during the meeting if we were all able to chat at any point, or if, yeah, okay, I wasn't so clear about that, but that was great. I touched base with Jonathan. You might recall during the meeting, we had a great presentation by the Community Living Huntsville group, Suzanne Willett, and the Community Living South Muskoka group, Krista Hayduck. During the meeting, I actually invited Krista to consider being an affiliate of this committee. So should we feel that that's appropriate to do, given the nature of her job as CEO, I believe it is, of Community Living South Muskoka and the work that she does do here in Gravenhurst. If the group is okay with that, I'd like to suggest that Ralph and I go on a Zoom call with Krista just to give her a little bit more information about us. She jumped at the idea during the call, but she doesn't really know what we do, when we meet, and all that sort of things. So if you guys are okay with that, and in general, we don't need a motion or anything for that, but I'm seeing some yeses. Great. Also wanted to do a shout out, and you mentioned it in your committee of the whole meeting, that there might be an opportunity for us to standardize across the district the crosswalks. You have the ability, as we learned at the meeting, to actually have a narrative come up. So if you're have a site accessibility issue and you press the crosswalk, you have the ability for it to tell you actually what street you're on right now. So that might be something that we might want to consider focusing on at the district level with them. The other thing is, with respect to the Moby mats, it was really clear from the presentation from the community living folks that the Moby mats are really being used a lot at the beaches. So as you know, they allow people to be able to get into the water much, much easier. What would be helpful, and I don't know if we have this now, Jonathan, on the town website, it would be helpful if, I believe anyway, if the beaches that are listed on the town website, if the accessibility aspects of each beach are also noted on the website. So for example, they talked about everything from the time you drive into the beach and park, is there accessible parking? Can you actually get from that parking to the Moby mat, to the picnic table, to the washroom? Is the washroom accessible? Is the playground accessible? So that was just a thought that I had, that it would be nice if we all knew actually which beaches were accessible and what those features were. And I don't know if that's something that we need to just leave in your capable hands, or if we need to do something specific about it.
It's been a while since I reviewed the list of all the beaches within the town. but I thought I remember seeing it actually highlighting which beaches have accessible aspects to them or Moby mats. But I will double check and I can get back to you guys if we can actually update that list to include Moby mat usage as well as accessible access.
Thank you, appreciate that. And then just briefly, the accessibility best practices and roundtables discussions. We talked a lot about all of us going out to, as committee members, to community events such as the farmers market or the, Huntsville calls it the summer market. Also, Huntsville goes to the Healthy Living Expo. And what was neat to see, and if you get a chance to see the accessibility group from Bracebridge out and about at a community event, they have swag like you wouldn't believe. They have jackets, they have the awning, they have everything, and they have a wheel. Can we get a wheel, please? Okay, all right, before May, right, of next year? Jonathan Smart, he never promises. That would be great. And so, and of course, we talked about the things that we do as well, whether it's the community survey, farmers market, the spin the wheel thing, and all the other things that we do. So just in closing, what was also neat with Huntsville is, well, for two things. Bracebridge, they say that they actually sit on the committee working on site plans and give their input. So that was kind of neat to see that they have that connection. And that might be the counselor that sits on that and then, uses their skill set to liaise with the AAC. And then Huntsville said that when they give feedback about a site plan, they now have I call it a close the loop thing. So they give the feedback on the site plan and then somehow information comes back to them that says, yeah, that's going to work, or no, we can't do this for X, Y, Z. So it's just a nice way, again, to have a conversation and close the loop on that. And that is about it. Oh, and the event next week will be next year for accessibility. It's called Canada's National Accessibility Week, and the two A's in accessibility are capitalized. So it's Canada's National Accessibility Week, and it's what you talked about, Penny. And it's the last Sunday in the month for 1 week. And so next week it is May the 25th to June the 1st. So again, May the 25th to June the 1st. So that's our time frame on when we would host our accessibility awareness event. And I know that we want to make sure the name is not does not overlap with other names that are being used for other adventures. And that is about it. So thank you so much.
Thank you for that, Barbara. That was comprehensive.
A bit much, huh? Thank you.
Go ahead, David.
I just wondered if we did,
Hold on to it, though.
oh, sorry. I just wondered, did we have a name for the,
Through you, Mr. Chair? We do not have an official name for it. The name that was long ago that we actually did here was Walk a Mile in Their Shoes. And there are other events now happening that the YWCA, for example, are hosting where the title is, I think, almost the same or is the same. So we want to stay away from that title. I like the National Accessibility Week, so we could go off on that, assuming I can say it. Yeah.
I was listening last week to it, our last meeting. I was just running some names by.
Great.
What about no, I gotta get it right. Live a, just a minute.
You remember. Oh, that's a
Yeah,
good one.
live a day in my life, my way.
Nice.
I like that. Live a day in my life, my way.
I love it. I love it.
Very good, David.
I think you might have done it. Thank you.
Or-
Go ahead, Dave.
And when we did that back in 22 years ago, I think we did that, walk a mile in my shoes, there was no cost to us involved at that time. Why is there now? Like, we just had the mayor, which was John Klink, go down to McDonald's and get his way himself back up to the town hall. We had people going into stores with oven mitts on shopping, people with blindfolds, like counselors and staff, going into bathroom with blindfolds on, and John Klink actually got stuck on the tracks down here, and when he gets stuck, he tried to get out, he would get, sat up in the chair, like to get out of this chair, and I was behind him, and I said, "You can't do that, John, you are disabled. You have to figure out how to get out of that track." He had the front wheel of the wheelchair stuck in the track. And then some people went in, like there was, I think it was Bill Weingard was the CEO at the time. He tried to go into the bathroom with a pair of oven mitts on. He couldn't do it. Sandy was involved, and she went into, I think she tried to go into a store. She had one arm tied behind her back and with a cane. And she tried to go shop, and she couldn't, so there was, we did, and I don't remember there being any cost involved to it.
Through you, Mr. Chair, Jonathan, I know you guys batted around an idea on cost, and not to put you on the spot and not to go into details, but there are some costs involved in organizing such an event when we have counselors involved and staff, yeah.
I'm not an event planner, nor do I have any experience with budgeting for events, so I wouldn't be able to tell you the exact amounts necessary for all. I rely heavily on recreation to provide that. So in the midst of us preparing with it, recreation, they'll be able to provide you some accurate figures for that. So I can't say anything right now.
Go ahead, Penny.
Through you, Mr. Chair. I guess I could see, Dave, some of the money for the budget for this might be for some pamphlets or something to hand out as we're doing it, because people will be questioning, what are these people doing? So you'd be explaining it to them, but also maybe handing them a suggestion, and also saying, if you know of somebody who needs help in this way, this is who you would get in touch with. So I guess I'm thinking that might be part of it. And we might have something set up, say, at the Opera House outside, where there might be some pop and water or something where people can come, and we could have our wheel maybe then, you know?
But we had a set up in the council room in the fire station up there, and they had lunch there because we did it during the day.
Okay.
And they just had set, he would have come in.
Ralph?
Any equipment that we're going to need, like wheelchairs, walkers, whatever, crutches, we can get it all from the loan cupboard. We got it in there, so it won't cost us anything, okay?
Thank you, Karen.
Yeah,
There, now you can talk.
now I can talk.
Yep.
Yeah, we got the stuff from the Legion and the crutches and the wheelchair, and then we had a first aid course at the same time. And so at the time, the people from Barrie come up, and they gave us all the bandages and that to tie people up with, and not tie them up. You know what I mean?
I know.
Now press it.
The Legion don't do it anymore. They don't have the equipment anymore. No. No. It's all at the loan cupboard. Okay.
Retirement fund. All right. Unfinished business. Any unfinished business? Go ahead. Barbara?
With regard to the new arena, the new complex in Bracebridge, I attended the opening ceremony, and after it was completed, I went in and looked at their wonderful arena, and I took pictures of their stairs, because we were wondering if our stairs in our older arena needed a little bit of a polish with respect to new railings going up. Just wanted to report that the brand-new arena looks great, and it's compliant, and there are only a railing going up the middle when you first come in, so the very first area when you walk up, there's a railing there for you to hang on to going up the stairs. But the other areas where you walk up the stairs, there is no railing. There is a elevator to get you up to the second floor, so if you don't want to do stairs, you can certainly do that. And there's a beautiful area there with chairs and space for wheelchairs. So you've got 2 chairs together and then a beautiful space for wheelchairs and whatnot, strollers and stuff. So you can sit up top. So just wanted to let you know what I saw in that regard, but I have no update on where we're actually at with feedback from the town on our request to examine railings in our arena. Remember that went to council and it was passed, and then it would have gone to Andrew. Yeah, so maybe Andrew could be reminded to bring that to us next time he chats with us.
He doesn't have an update at this time, as far as I know. It has to be approved in the budget before we can proceed.
Yeah, that's fine, as long as we can hear that from him and next time he comes here, that would be great. Okay,
Thank you, Barbara.
okay.
Next item, new business. Any items on that area? None? Correspondence? Okay. Call for adjournment, of the meeting. Karen, second is Judy. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much.